launching another, not only another set of nodes, but also another node class as well, because we don't want them all in one particular node class. So we'll be working on that. And then Project Thunder, which is our Fractus nodes. So Thunder is the project for data. Fractus is the node, the very first one that's been created. We got 40, what'd you say, 47 nodes, Davey?
47 yesterday, but
That's
it's probably gone up already.
Pretty badass. We added multi-port support, you know, so you can do up to 8 nodes behind one IPv4 address. Big question I get is, when can we add more of these nodes? Right now, we're not at that point. We kind of got like a benchmark in our mind where we need to kind of start spanning that out. Can it be increased? Yes. Will it be increased anytime soon? Probably not. So, you know, I want to let everybody know that we do understand it. It is a question people have asked, and it is one that we'll look at. Geolocations for specific dApps and areas. That's important. Synchronization application among data instances. This is the unsung hero of Flux, guys. This is the one that took a while, synchronization, and it really came through quite nicely. Decentralized persistent storage. So we have our Flux IPFS. We're also working on private containers, all that kind of stuff. Jetpack 2.0 was launched. We have our enhanced dApp registration and multi-client support. It's a seamless way for people to deploy. You can pay by dirty fiat. You can now, or it should be released within the next couple days, pay by anything that's in Zelcore. So you can pay by Zelcore, and you can eventually pay by 2 other means, which we're going to announce coming up. People have probably already saw it floating
around. Good morning,
Oz.
Good morning.
So I might just say it.
Good
but we're going to add
morning.
Coinbase and Crypto.com
What's up, Teaspoon?
for
What's up,
deployments
good, my dude?
as well. So
just going to finish watching this up real fast, and then
that's
we'll
important
kind of get started.
because, you know, some companies, they utilize, you know, Coinbase, and that's what they stick to, and it's going to be easier for them for deployment. Parallel asset distribution. This should actually be Avalanche. We got a spelling error there, but it's Flux Ergo and Avalanche went out. So the 6 and 7 were distributed in 2023. We had a dual parallel for asset 8 and 9, which I'm going to share asset.
There we go. Turn it down just a little bit. It is a little loud. Sorry.
October of Q1, Q2.
Good morning, miners.
In this quarter. So the first one that we announced today will drop in this quarter, right? So everybody will say, well, where at in that quarter? Because that's a big quarter. That's 3 months. The sooner we can, the better we can. So all we can say is the last day would be the last day of the quarter. Let's hope, and we'll deliver somewhere before that. So, you know, we want that as much as you do, because people deploy more infrastructure, they become more invested in the project, yada, yada, yada. And then we're working on we started our first version of Flux Marketplace. Flux Mining, new pools. We're added to NiceHash, massive, which is, you know, you may or may not like it.
He didn't end up going live, right? Because of the Flux thing.
After the ETH transition.
I know that he was planning on it.
10 megasouls, and we held that for quite a while. It's down now, I think, around 8-ish.
Also trying to get ready at the same time for
and if you look at all the other proof of work products
going to meet Chili here in a little bit to go have some lunch.
And went one in the end. At least that's my opinion.
Give him a little farm.
That's our opinion. You could argue it in a different way or whatever, but if you understand how parallel asset mining
probably
works,
record
stuff, then you're you know, you don't
record
see
an
those
interview or
what to mine.
some chit chat.
Right? You only see the PAs that have been released, not the
that way
PAs
we have some content for you.
So you always have to take that number and roll it up 3 more assets. So think about that.
Good old Chili.
The best kept secret in crypto, and you won't know the full impact of what it's doing to the mining market until all 10 assets are deployed. And then we'll start working at our next 10. Both NVIDIA and AMD card optimization. Flux fully supported on Mineable. Big shout out to Lolly D. What's the other? LOL
What?
Miner.
No way. He went live?
LOL Miner and Z Miner. No?
Z Miner. Those guys busted their ass, and they tweaked those.
That's wild. I didn't know. I didn't know he went live.
So congratulations, guys. We really appreciate you. January. These are kind of our statistics. We have 300. January 300.
Some terrible feedback on my microphone.
Thanks, guys, for correcting me.
Mini Z.
See
Thank
it.
you, Mini Z. 2,500. what is this? Oh, this is of 2022. This is
Video
a comparison.
broadcast.
So
So
January
January to January went 3,000 to 4,000, 2,500 to 15,000, 18,000 to 111,000, 32 to 193, 1.1 to 6.7.
Weird.
Impressive. And these numbers are probably
Yeah, it
going
doesn't
up
show
as we
anything
speak
is
right now.
wrong.
So how is Flux being utilized? Flux is unbelievably utilized.
A little weird.
Bitcoin's
Do y'all hear
estimated
feedback or
daily
anything?
transactional volume of transactions across the Bitcoin network are about 186,000. Flux is
you have like a
93,000.
you hear a fan noise? Is that what
Litecoin
it
is
is?
87, and Ethereum Classic is 64. Why is this important? This metric is like a really good hidden metric because it shows the actual
I can
chain
hear
is
like
being
everything.
used, right? If you see a blockchain that has
Every
very
little
low
thing that I'm
numbers of
doing, I can hear it.
transactions in a day, and this doesn't count for what happens behind the curtain on the black
Dude,
box
congratulations on
exchanges,
the
right?
11
This
years,
is
man.
actual usage
That's
of
fantastic.
the chain for deployments, for nodes, for everything. It's on
I don't have
transactions
feedback.
that are being
Okay.
signed going across the every single day.
I'm like
So
watching my
this
microphone.
is a telling sign. This chain is more
When I'm not
utilized than
talking,
Litecoin.
it's still making noise.
I mean, there's some days where Litecoin
Never
might pop above.
does that
You know,
before.
they get a little bull run, though, might go up and then come back down, whatever. But the bottom
But I
line
don't know.
is we're doing the right damn thing because people are using the technology. And then, of course, you got Ethereum Classic. Our revenue growth already this year. So we're what? 14 days in, we're 625% increase.
I don't know. I
over
didn't
last
catch it.
year.
I turned my
And
volume
last
down
year,
because I
we
thought
were
y'all couldn't hear it.
11,600% increase, Davey.
I don't remember. It was a ton. It
It was
was
a ton, 11,000 something. So people often say about this number here, they say, and this number here, this annual revenue, why can't we see that higher?
I
Our
believe it's
goal
been
is
that
to keep
long,
these
but yeah.
numbers as
Yeah,
low
me
as
and my
humanly
wife
possible.
just celebrated
Because this
5
means
years last year.
people are
This year's
paying not a
6.
lot to deploy and utilize the network and continuing to come back and develop. The Linux distribution model, if you don't know about it, look it up. Give it away damn near for free. Build
Fun
your
times on here.
communities, build your developers. If you build it,
Having
they
a good
will come.
time with someone
We
that
can
you
do
love.
that because we have the infrastructure to do that. But still pretty damn impressive. You can find all this data at on our Explorer as well. Our community.
But he says always
snapshot,
never
well,
go
we've-
alone.
We've held our own on CoinMarketCap.
Jeez.
I think
Oops.
we're 130 today-ish, 32, something like that.
Yep.
We've been as high as almost. Did we
What
get
up,
into the top
Budweiser?
100? I don't think
Automatic
we did
beats.
get into
Good
the top
morning, good
100.
we
morning.
went into the top 100 and came back out like 5 minutes later or something like that. But we made it there, right?
Finishing
so
up this Flux State of the
ATH is
Union.
the top 100, all right? But everything's
Then we'll
staying
chit-chat
strong.
for a
We're staying
second.
strong in a bear market,
And then,
in a
I
beat
gotta
your
get
ass
outta
market,
here and
we
on the
continue
road.
to hold our own. And this is telling over here, our Twitter has
Meet
seen a
Mr. Chili.
1,200% increase last year, which is absolutely amazing. That is even after Elon put the anti-bot
Crypto
busting stuff
Craig?
in. There's still a lot of projects that have 2 million followers or 3 million followers.
No,
and
Nim
98% of
Nim
them
is
are
not
bullshit
here.
bots.
Nim is
Flux,
actually
we never did
on a delayed
any of
flight.
that. We did all organic growth.
Down
Word of mouth.
to,
People came to us. You're sitting 125,000
Dominican
or something like
Republic.
130,000. Could
His
easily
flight
be,
got delayed to like
much higher as
2
we move through
p.m.
this bull
He was
market.
supposed to
So
leave, I think, at
it's
like
gonna be
7.
pretty interesting to see that growth.
So he's been at the airport
All
since
right,
like
Now,
6.
let me get a drink and then we're going to go into the roadmap. What
Poor
everybody's
dude.
been waiting for.
Yes, I'm still listening, Tiger
Fuck
guy.
that, maybe. All right.
I wouldn't.
Scotch.
I wouldn't
okay.
like not miss
the
this.
next year is this year is gonna be action-packed, guys. We'll move quick, and then you guys can ask questions after this is all over. If you come to our Discord, there's gonna be an AMA in there. People can ask questions of the mods. Davey will be there. I'll be there for a little bit. I've got to go donate some dog food to the dog shelter today, so take care of those little dogs.
You bringing Dibby as well?
Well, of course, man. He's like an OG.
Yeah, he has the Steam
Our
Deck with him.
practice nodes and cumulus storage node rewards. We're going to release the reward pattern.
Yep, he has the Steam
Deck.
Deck. So
we'll let
he's
everybody know if you're
probably
deploying
playing a
practice
game or
node,
something.
You're going to get a percentage above what you
He said
get
that they
in.
have
We'll have those numbers on the dashboard as well.
they have
so
like
you'll
another
be able to see
plane
what a
coming,
standard cumulus node
but it's
gets
smaller.
and what a
That won't be
practice
there
node
until
gets.
like 2.
My rough guesstimate, and the guys will probably strangle me for saying this, is anywhere between 15 and 18%.
He still has a 5-hour flight.
Difference between the two. Okay.
So he just like
So,
basically wasted
think 15
a whole day's
logical.
worth
18
of
as people start to come on, and then we
fun.
ratchet it down a little bit to 15. But that's around where we're looking. So you're gonna make a little bit more flux in your pocket for those practice nodes. We've got Jetpack
It's pretty
3.0.
wild.
It's no longer called Jetpack. It's called Flux
I don't care. I just
Cloud
want to know why my
3.0.
freaking microphone
But
says
we're
it's
gonna do
making
the
noises,
Coinbase,
but it's not.
Crypto.com, Zelcore onboarding. We're also going to open it up for other platforms, so like maybe other wallets or other exchanges that want to do immediate deployment, use their models. Maybe a Binance US or a Binance.com proper.
I don't know.
You know, so that way you can do simplistic deployment.
Maybe that last update fixed
The other
something.
thing is these are all transactional
Or made it worse.
settled on the blockchain. So people say, well, why would I want
One
to
or
pay
the other.
for Flux or to run
What
something with
is
Flux
up,
and
Jump
fiat?
Change? Thanks for
Because
the
you're
raid,
paying
my
for it in
dude. Good
Flux.
morning, good morning.
Because behind the scenes, that
Thank
is
you all
actually
for
going to
coming in and
just
joining
basically
the
go to
show.
market and buy
Currently
Flux
just
at the
watching
market
this,
price.
catching up on
Welcome
this a
to
little
Passive
bit before
Market.
I
We
actually
eventually
have
are,
to head
as
out
the
of here
usage
to go
goes
meet
up, as its
with
demand
Mr.
goes up,
Chili
the amount gets
from
deployed in the
Octominer.
market.
He is in my neck of the
You
woods,
see what happens.
and I'm
not
gonna
an
go have some
investment
lunch with the
advisor,
guy
but you
and
can put two and
show
two
him the
together
facility
and think
and
about that conceptually. But not an
have
investment advisor.
some
Decentralized WordPress for the public. That is, it's
Have some
up
fun
now and running.
times.
And Davey yelled at us because we let it out for a little bit, and there was a bunch of people playing with it. But it's ready.
I did.
So this month we're gonna have the private data.
What's
as
up, Chris
well. So
Hansley?
right now
Yeet,
it's
yeet,
like you have
DJ.
a
What's
static
up, my
view,
dude?
like the
What
Run
is
on
up?
Flux website is just a static site. There's no
What
private
is
data.
up?
You could deploy that on
Yeah,
WordPress
nice,
today.
right?
And as a matter of fact, we
Make
are
a video.
deploying
No, I'm
as
not
we
gonna make any
speak,
videos.
the Run on Flux, on WordPress, on
I'm just
Flux.
kidding. Yeah, we're gonna record something.
So
Flux. Yeah.
Flux on Flux on Flux on Flux. That's a new song. Flux OS mobile app. If you haven't downloaded it, get it. It's pretty badass.
22.
It basically gives you all the creature comforts right now of what's happening in the OS model on the website.
Yeah, proof of useful work will be a barrier for regular folks.
This is going to be where you monitor your nodes.
Because not everybody
This is going to be where you deploy. This is where you're going to be able to check
will
your
be able
deployments, link to your Zell ID. This is
run
your
a proof of
brain,
useful work
right?
like
And
setup.
it's going to utilize this and Zelcore in tandem.
Like definitely not everybody. You need different kind of infrastructure for your mining rig
Here's
setup.
a leak that isn't on here, and I'll
Like
share
a basic
it because
a basic
you're
mining rig
a
is
bunch
not
of my
gonna
best buddies, right? So on here you will be able to track
not gonna cut it.
carbon footprint of Flux.
So they're gonna have to go out and buy a
every
whole
day.
new
You'll
setup
be able to
in order
see
to do
where
it.
we are at, where our target goals for carbon
And you're talking
is at,
about
where
high
we can
gigabytes
do
of
better,
RAM.
and where we need to work on.
I think
That's
12
gonna be
cores
pretty
was around the
impressive, and
minimum.
I'm excited about that. So, our Flux parallel attribution PA.
I've never been able to
in this
claim
quarter.
a PA.
Davey, you wanna wait
I
till
wonder
the
if
end,
my
or you wanna roll
pool
that
is
in?
just
I'm
auto
gonna
paying it.
push a button.
What do you
Go.
mean, DJ? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is it?
The
Algorand.
next PA is going to be Algorand. Now, people are
Algorand is the next PA.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Ding. It psyched me out there for a minute. It's going to be Algorand. And the reason being is because, honestly,
There you go.
Algorand's doing some really unique stuff. It also has a lot of exposure from people who have kind of been refugees from the Solana network. And it continues to kind of keep growing. I think it's going to be a really good
I don't
ad
want to
for us.
use.
I think in terms of exposure for the parallel
Oh, for like
asset,
mining, not
if
like a
you look
node.
at, what we could have
If you're
added
mining,
and
yeah,
what
it's
we will
auto.
add,
It's auto
I
converted
think
into
it's,
Flux.
I think it's a really logical ad for us. The
If you look in your wallet, it's like a
asset
smaller payout.
is one that everybody
It's a
has
separate
requested.
payout from
I
your
can't announce it
actual
today, but if you
full
figure it out
payout.
long and hard and you think about it, you'll be able to kind of come up with what it is. So no leaks today because I
don't
knock
see
me
ETH
out. I've already
being
given
or
enough.
Flux being an ETH
Our
replacement. I
fiat
don't.
payment
Lots of
service
people like
for
to
Flux
think
Cloud. We talked about
it's
that.
not an
We
ETH
upset-
replacement. It
updated
doesn't even do the
website
same
and
things as Ethereum
documentation
does.
guide for developers.
Nowhere near the same thing.
Quarter 2, and it just keeps getting better.
Ethereum's main
Xcloud 2.0,
use
man.
really is like the
Xcloud 2.0.
Ethereum
So the
virtual
white
machine.
paper is done for Xcloud
That is the
2.0.
most use.
I am getting
Flux does not have a
feedback
virtual
from
machine.
the-
They
from
are
the team,
basically
and then we're gonna
AWS.
release it to the
Not even the
community
same
for
kind of
them to
situation.
feed it up and ask questions.
So it's kind of hard
We're
for
gonna
people.
have
I get what you're saying. Like
basically
when
a
people are like,
community meeting,
"Oh, it's gonna be
and I want to allow everybody
an
to
ETH
come
killer."
on board
It
and
doesn't
voice their
even
opinions
perform the
or
same functions
concerns
as
around
Ethereum.
what the next version is going to look like, because this This is how it should be done.
No, none of the pools pay you as the parallel asset. They only pay you in Flux.
White paper
only DJ.
2.0. That's going to be
that
submitted.
Is it.
Okay. I will tell you this. We are going to
Is
take
Zelcore the only wallet that supports PAs? No. If
platform,
you have a wallet
miner,
like that supports
Titan staker,
all of the different chains, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, SafePal Wallet, as long as you can set up like the actual tokens, you'll be able to like use the wallet. So you just have to be able to like import in like the token ID or whatever.
Price of deployments goes this way. We want to tie this to fiat, so when Flux goes this way or this way or this way, that it's one amount that they pay.
Stays the same.
It stays the same. So that's going to help us with consistency.
But yeah, DJ, on Flux pools, they only pay out in Flux. No one pays out in parallel assets except for nodes.
I can't go to my CFO and be like, we may need 20,000 Flux, or we could need 100,000 Flux, or we may need 5,000.
Should be is really low.
Right? Can't do that.
Everyone's jumping on. Everyone's turning rigs back on right now because price is going up.
It's going to be big. So everybody out there that's sitting there right now, and they're thinking of ways to
our share of the pie is going smaller, but our share of the pie is worth more right now. So rewards are going down, but earnings in dollars is going up.
To the cloud, for if you get somebody to stand up a node, now it might be iterative, so we might not
really
have
high
this all
for
out of the box, which I'd love to have.
Yes, yeah, always do your own research.
But it's definitely going to come into play. So all these pieces are going to
always check your minimum payouts.
Help us reach out and grab people, bring them in, and also helps you as
see what your conversion rate is.
So that's good.
Definitely the focus will be on the app side, right? So if you deploy on Flux,
that's where we'll start,
yeah.
right? Yeah. That's where we'll start. Yeah. So and I think eventually too we could link something to Zell ID, and if somebody uses it as a referral, if they stand up a node and they have their Zell ID referral code or whatever it is, that they could get a little Flux as well. So
well, I mean, it'll do the same thing as last time.
We'll have it this week.
You'll have a bunch of people
this year.
A bunch of people will turn off, and I think the
our
most
Project Prime Time. So I'm a big one.
impact you'll see to people turning things off is going to be like the Cumulus nodes, like the lower tiered nodes. I think you'll see a lot of those shut off.
If you're an old school football fan, right, you remember Deion Sanders, and you remember when he'd take it to the house, right, pick you off and run you back.
Because they won't be making enough to cover their costs if they're using like an AWS type of service.
Everything we've built
not AWS, but
is prime time. It's
not dedicated hardware.
So this is gonna involve the community. It's gonna involve the team. It's gonna involve labs. It's gonna involve every person in this ecosystem.
A lot of people will you'll still get pretty decent amount of earnings because there will be less people using it or like running it.
On
That's how it always works. So it helps by weaning out those that are there for just the dollars.
It was very successful. Our first conference,
which dollars do matter in some cases, right? But I think it'll wean out a lot of the people that are like looking for dollars.
Right, Davey?
Hopefully. I'm working my butt off for that.
Here, Davey, I gotta turn this heater off.
Dump a little light raven after.
I had to turn the heater off, man. It's getting hot. I'm getting so excited. I'm sweating. Okay. Our Flux PA Distribution 9, our decentralized database, so the ability to run databases in a decentralized manner.
I have to figure out what my do with my node.
Our Flux carbon footprint.
Yeah, Integra guy. Yeah, you need to look at running it like running it bare metal. There, Integra. That guy Oz.
I will tell you,
if you have an 8 gigabyte Pi, you can just run it on a Pi. Or find an 8 gigabyte Pi.
We now have Betty and I would say 6 or 7 other people.
And you can run it at home and not have to worry about running it on a virtual machine.
If you haven't seen our content, it is fire. They're really doing a good job with it. And honestly, I can't tell you how happy I am with Betty. She is the CMO we deserve, right? She is
the fifth inning. Didn't do anything on ETC. Yeah, no, I didn't. There was too many ASICs on the network at the time.
She has that cool thing on her wall that says, "Don't be evil."
We're jealous every time we go on a call.
Though what I am actually curious about is, you know, proof of useful work, they say, is something kind of different from proof of work mining. So when it goes live, are we going to have a reward cut again? Because it'll no longer be split 50-50 with node operators and miners. Will it be split in thirds? That's my curiosity, is if we go into thirds. Proof of useful work gets some, proof of work gets some, and the node operators get some. That would be my curiosity.
Yeah, so Q3 private Docker, Flux Marketplace.
So if you build your proof of useful work machine well enough, you could probably run your node and your proof of useful work machine on the same machine.
I will tell you,
depending on how you set it up, dual processors would be the way to go. That way you could simultaneously do things.
By the proof of use work guys, and it was pretty freaking cool. So we have already got these ideas.
Is my
doing, and it's
my point of view.
We're gonna work in Q4 on Flux University. Okay, so we're gonna really roll out a lot of different colleges. Was 1,500 of them all across the world. Flux Snapshot. Flux. Wait a minute, that's on there twice.
Those are that's when they're gonna do the snapshot for Algorand is Q4 of 2023.
Yeah, so just
because we still have two more
this one
that should be dropping here soon, right?
Yeah,
we can pick and choose.
Or
Q4.
Or maybe. Oh, I know what this
You've seen
is.
the proof of useful work called Dynex.
Right.
I hadn't. I've heard there was another like proof of useful work project, but I hadn't. I didn't know what it was called.
2, and then our Cirrus
Can you
node testnet.
The Dynex?
Decentralized WordPress.
DM that crypto Craig. That way I can not forget, because I'm leaving in like 20 minutes. I gotta go meet Chili.
Center resistant, affordable prices, no single point of failure with 100% uptime. Well, we say 99.9, but you guys get it. Two payment options in Flux or Fiat, and that's actually going to be way more
they
than
had a BTC talk forum, kind of old school here. Yeah.
Our marketplace expansion. So this is our current marketplace, dedicated marketplace website.
Besides
UI UX, allow customers to specify.
There's lots of things that other coins are doing, man. I mean, Caspa's implementing in Rust, which will bring in smart contracts, which would make it a proof of work contender to something like Solana or Aptos, because they are also a Rust type. They are also built on Rust.
But we're not going to talk about that. So
which has my interest, because Solana has a lot of NFTs and smart contracts and things like that, because the fees are really cheap, and it would be interesting to see if some things kind of port over a little bit to kind of give a diversity, like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Matic. You know, a lot of like Sushi Swap has all of those listed. You know what I mean? Because they're all basically the same. They're all running on the same kind of system, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. So it's easy just to like port each chain over and just kind of like continue the way it goes. They can't add in things like Solana and things like that because it's a different code base. It's completely different. So when they implement in Rust, it could give projects that are running Solana like automatic market makers, right? AMMs and things like that. It would be like adding Caspa onto their list of things.
If you haven't
that's my personal opinion.
There's a bunny analyst IO.
Of course, but when something like that happens, it would be that'd be awesome.
So my kids basically use this now at school. They're using this at school.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah.
To deploy their JavaScript.
Yeah, that's what I would love them to like. Would love for them to see.
And they're actually showcasing
like,
this to their
getting that going. Rust is the next thing after Dagnite, and then smart contracts after that.
Straight on his platform.
Yep, it's pretty amazing.
I would assume, hopefully by Q4, we should have
it's fast.
Smart contracts live on Caspa. I would hope.
If you go and do
I'm acquiring like a
do
small
one,
bag of
post it on
Caspa just for
Twitter,
the
and
time
I
being,
will personally, out of my rusty Flux, give you
because
a couple Flux for
it does
doing
intrigue me. I enjoy
we talked about this earlier today.
I enjoy
This is
Solana
kind of what
for
it's going to look like
the Rust
inside
aspect.
of the onboarding
Currently
process. We're gonna have Flux
relearning
deploy in
Rust
Web
as we
3,
speak.
OVH
It's
deploy in Web 2. OVH will really be geared more toward
been a while.
end user and small business deployments, and Lumen will be more toward enterprise infrastructure. But the cool thing about it is you can check deploy in Web 2, and you can also deploy
My solo
Web 3
latency
and
is
also
awesome.
Web 2 at the same time.
He's Sadie sometimes.
Because
Good
we're
morning.
using their API interface, you will basically be able to deploy whatever you need in both platforms at the same time.
Hash that.
Space. So
Hash that
this
solo
is another
Raven.
piece of that symbiotic relationship. We don't change our ways. They don't change their
I
ways,
gotta
but
go
that don't mean we
refill
can't
my
work
coffee
together.
cup and
So that's
grab
pretty
my
amazing.
socks.
That is my
Hey.
State of the Union. We
We're
had
done?
a lot. We had a lot to cover today. It only took like an hour and 26
Yeah, I'm not
minutes.
a big fan of Virgo either. Crypto Craig.
Everybody, do not leave, right? Because you want to bring Alex in. I am gonna take.
Is he there? Is he still there? Did he fall asleep? No, he's not. I'll bring him in. There he is.
Alex,
Hi.
you've been nervously waiting all this time for me to shut the hell up, right?
It's alright.
So,
I think he's been nervously waiting for his neighbors to stop drilling because apparently
Yeah.
they're doing renovation next door. He was telling me so.
Should be done by now.
They done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy. Anyone that isn't familiar, Alex is works with Davey. They're the head of Proof of Useful Work. Those two are the guys that really put their great minds together and started to build out this first iteration. When we release the white paper later today on Flux, it's a little stash. If you're listening to me, send me that link and go ahead and make that live, and that way we can start to share it with the community. Alex, you give a little introduction for people that this may be the first time that they've met you. I thoroughly, Davey can attest to this. The first time I met Alex, I was quiet.
Was it January 2020?
It was a year ago.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
quiet, and that doesn't happen very often, right? So I shut up and I listened, and the way that he wanted to approach these things, it changed the way that I conceptually saw proof of useful work, which is awesome. Because when you get input from young minds who he has the ability to go out and talk to other people and get their input as well. Old minds like me, we've been down this road before, we've seen a thing or two. And middle of the road minds like Davey, who just have a general knowledge of all of it, right? That's where it really comes into play. And we have a very good team on proof of use work. Alex and Davey are leading the way. And Alex, without further ado, I'm turning it over to you, brother.
Alright, so I joined the team a year ago when proposing a new approach to the proof of useful work concept and consensus. And I'm part of the University of Applied Sciences in Geneva, and I basically came up with this proposal. So I'll just do a little transition with what Dan mentioned earlier about the supercomputers. So only CPU-wise, if you take without the memory latency and other constraints, but purely based on hardware with our CPU cores, we're up there with the top 100 configurations with over 110,000 cores. Obviously we're not providing computational power as they do because we haven't.
What's this? Is this the 14-year-old kid?
But we're working our way up there. Basically.
So where are we ranked roughly?
Around the top 100 or so in the supercomputers.
Sheesh. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's with the current.
Yeah, this kid is super smart.
Yeah, only core-wise, but we can't provide the same computational power, obviously, for obvious reasons. But
he's 14.
Core-wise,
if I'm not mistaken, Magic.
Already. So now with all the miners and everyone that would basically contribute to the proof of useful work.
Sadie equals MVP. That's right.
We could implement
It's Sadie all the
on
time.
top of that and provide actual computational power.
Nice.
Not Sadie sometimes.
So
Sadie all the
I brought
time.
up your slide deck from a few weeks or a month ago already. We can go through that now quickly.
Yeah, dude, he's super smart.
Are you able to control it, or do I have to control it?
I don't know how to use this. I can't do it.
Super
You can't do
smart,
it?
man.
I'll do it for you then.
Alright. So just a little introduction to proof of use work, and on top of being able to use the GPUs, it's also a way to shift mindsets on the way we use and consume our resources. So basically, because Flux is also based on expanding the lifespan of these GPUs, like Dan's 1070s that he has in his closet. Yeah. And by aggregating these resources together, basically to prolong these, basically their lifespan. So there's an analogy that I like using to how we would implement this and why this makes sense.
Dude,
one
for
that I
real.
stole from Dan is the car analogy. Then I revamped
I'm
it
ready to
into
see
my
what this
own.
kid builds like
So
in the future.
basically, why you use this is basically when you invest into a
I
car,
mean,
you make a considerable amount.
Zell was founded by a really young
you
founder,
deposit a considerable amount of money,
like
but
super
90%
young.
of the time,
Like,
your car is
I
basically
think he was
sitting in
like
the parking lot. You buy a car
15
because it's useful, but
or
from a
16
sales
whenever he
perspective,
created
just to go
Zell,
from point A
which
to point
is
B,
now
and it
Flux.
sits in the
But
parking lot, and same goes the other way. So what I'm trying to make you realize on top of that is basically we're making a very
This kid's
inefficient use of our actual
making
resources.
slideshow presentations.
So on top of that, basically
I know,
you're
man.
the
You see
only
this and you're
driver, or
like,
maybe you have one passenger.
you're like,
your
crap,
total
man. What
capacity
was
is
that? What am I doing?
5 people or more. So making it pretty inefficient when you think of it, because 90% of the time you're not using it and you're not using it at full capacity. So how do you make use of these resources we invested in? So basically you could either rent it or carpool
Jumping
with
them
it.
off skate
So
ramps,
that's
right?
how
I was
took the
playing
approach on
baseball and riding
the
BMX
useful
bikes and
part
skateboarding at
is
14.
also
Like,
making the community be able to rent these or rent theirs to the network, basically making and expanding the life span of these hardware we invested to basically provide useful work. So the use case of useful work is basically what we're going to be covering with the target sectors and the
crap,
actors as well.
DJ.
And we'll also go briefly over the configuration, so who does this apply to, and also the operating model, and for a little introduction to the light paper that will be releasing later.
We're a bunch of
I'll let
degenerates.
you read those further on. We're just gonna go really high level here.
Yeah, let's go really high level. Folks can read the light paper.
I'm showing that
Calling it the
regardless.
light paper, by the way. That's very reasonable. We'll get into.
I'm not letting them hide that. It's too funny to hide.
Folks will be able to read it.
I was
I'll be
doing
in the
hood rat
later as
crap
well. If you have
at
questions around
14.
it, I'll be able to answer some of it as well. But Alex
Mine didn't even work at 14. Dude, this kid is super smart.
Think about it. Car sitting there most of the day being useless. It's the same for a computer, right? You're at school, you're at work, you're not doing anything with it. It's
This
just
kid gets
there.
it, man.
Have that thing do something useful, right? Have it work on an AI model. Have it work. Have somebody game on it while you're away, and it makes you Flux on the side. That's the idea. That's what I'll be using mine for.
Y'all are wild.
That's the MVP that we did the other day. I have a computer behind me there for my kids. If they're at school, and we were playing games while they were at school. Sorry, kids. But that's literally the idea behind it, right? So the car analogy is spot on. Right? It's a useful product, but it's useless when it's sitting there. That's the idea behind proof of work. Make it useful again. So, you want to go to the next slide, Alex? Or?
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on. So basically, our mission statement is basically what we just talked about, making just a better use of our resources and basically extending the lifespan of these for providing basically useful tasks like AI, rendering, and headless gaming. Yeah, you can keep on going. All right, so as I mentioned, the use case, machine learning AI applications, just like I'm aware that you pretty much heard of ChatGPT that use 280,000 cores with 11,000 GPUs, sorry. So this is what AI is capable of, and we're still expanding, and the more people will be able to join the network, the more we'll be able to grow this, and the more computational power we'll be able to provide to people, by the people, basically. We've also got the rendering part, which is pretty expensive computational-wise. Rendering a 5K image takes 12 seconds on a 3090. If you want to do 1 second frame, you gotta have 60 frames per second. So basically you have to render 60 frames, so that takes already a lot of time. So if you want to make a movie or video edit of that, that's gonna cost you a lot of money and time. Same goes for cloud gaming. Who buys a GPU for gaming? Target sectors, so many: medical field, research, federated learning, cloud applications, media, entertainment, and I'll pass the rest. As well as actors and contributors. This was from a couple months ago, but back then we had Lumen and NVIDIA, and also my university that's participating actively to the proof of concept. So as for configurations and hardware, so basically the benchmark and configurations for the hardware specifications will be based on the machines we provide, because we want to ensure the quality of the service we provide. We have to meet a minimum
I thought I muted my
benchmark.
microphone.
So that applies to bandwidth, hardware configurations, and these will all be assigned by tasks
Door was open.
they are assigned to do. So the score they will be given is the score they'll be getting for the task.
Never I looked at any of the AI projects and renting out your GPU.
So basically, if you want to run an
yeah,
AI
I looked
model,
into a little bit of it.
a Tesla or a
I have some of my older
would be
GPUs
more
here that I
efficient
actually
it,
use
but
for
a
like
Tesla
machine
would not
learning.
be very efficient for gaming, for example. And also the ability to tweak between, for the miners, shifting between doing a useful work when there's one available for their rig or someone selected their rig, to back to mining and saving their configurations, basically. So always having the miner in our mind, basically.
Yeah, I gotta be getting out of here.
So as I just mentioned, these are the different type of configurations.
Thought this was only gonna be an hour long.
Anyone that is running a casual computer with Windows installed on it, like the proof of concept
over that now.
a couple days ago, weeks ago,
Rolling up on 2 hours.
Anyone that is running their machine just needs to install their basically software and will be able to use your GPU without stealing the GPU away from you. For example, your GPU, as I mentioned earlier with the car analogy, is able to render a certain type of networking workload, but the rest of it is unused and cannot be used by someone else. But here we can load balance basically between the proof of useful work part and rent it out to someone else while you're still able to use part of your GPUs. For miners, as I mentioned, same thing. We just shift from mining to GPU.
Those are my favorite games.
And basically, it will ensure a proper balance between proof of work and proof of use work.
Talking about proof of useful work,
man. Is keeping on smart as hell. While we basically make the transition to proof of useful work consensus, basically later on. So for now, we're still using the proof of work consensus mechanism, and we'll slowly shift to proof of useful work as the adoption grows on this end of the network.
All right.
So as for the operating model system, I'll go on a very high level here. It's basically it consists of a scheduler, and basically it will
be ruined like us.
The optimal task based on the configuration, or you'll be able to specifically choose the rig you want to perform work on, and basically validate this work.
It's terrible.
While ensuring the load balancing of this work across the selected machines you use. So the cluster you're configuring is based on the machines you select, or on an auto-distributed environment. There's another part that we need to address, is basically making sure that the data is secured from basically the host. That is discussed later on in the light paper in more details. I won't go too much into it right here.
All right. You want to go to next?
Yeah. And yeah, so this is basically the marketplace that we discussed earlier in the State of the Union part. This is a marketplace that will start to bring up later at the end of the year.
Break out the OAN hoodie, man.
Not making any assumptions, I'll let Dan do this. So basically, the marketplace for these use cases will be 3 different dedicated marketplace, and basically, I think it would be 3 different papers I'd need to write for each of these, because these are very, very huge things. If you go onto AWS, basically for only the machine learning and AI section, there's a lot of sub fields that you can apply these to, and basically every single one of these needs to be addressed individually and discussed in a further detailed white paper.
Yeah, I'll add to that too. Like, you have to keep in mind, this will be a steady rollout, but there will be iterative, right? So it's going to be building blocks, one after the other after the other. Just like we do everything else with Flux. We'll deploy one piece.
Some of us can be lucky.
We'll expand on that. We'll build it out. It's going to be the same for this, right? The marketplace at the very beginning just like it was in the
Some of us can be lucky and be the ones that do the ruining.
It's very bare bone. There's not much to see yet. The same thing will happen with proof of use work. It'll be bare bone, but we'll start expanding on it and grow, and more things will come to us. There will be ideas out there that we haven't even thought about it that will come to us. There will be other people coming with ideas. So we'll grow it and organically, but you'll start seeing the first pieces of it later in the year.
Hey, can I just add one thing in there?
Absolutely.
I think this is an important point. We talked earlier in the State of the Union specifically about 2 different marketplaces. This would be a completely separate marketplace, and people will say, well, why would you need 2 marketplaces? Because we want one that's basically geared toward Flux and the Flux deployments and everything with it. We want this to be a bit more agnostic in terms of we want it to be more geared
Does anybody know if
toward
Serpent's
compute
going live?
resources and rental of it. It'll all be branded, powered by Flux. But essentially, proof of use work at some point, will allow multiple projects to participate, not just Flux. And our ultimate goal is to get as many of them running on Flux and deploying in proof of use work as humanly possible. So I think it is worth pointing out that, it will be 2 marketplaces and they will be very specific for the things that they're doing, as Alex kind of alluded
to.
It's not focused on just Flux, right?
By 4 only. By 4 or not. So it needs to be like, I think Gen 3 at the minimum, but Gen 4 is should be required.
When it's needed, or you'll be mining if you want to just be mining.
But by 4 lanes.
You might be gaming, you might be doing other things. It tries to balance it out for you. If you're not available, you're not available.
How's Panda going next?
And another asterisk, because people are going to ask, the payment settlement mechanism will always be Flux. So it doesn't matter if you come from another project or if you're doing something else. The proof of useful work scenario will be paid in Flux. So that, just so we have that clear. And, maybe somewhere down the road that could, more for change. I don't know. But at least from the way that I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I don't see anything on Serpent's side either.
Yep.
I know I got to get that set up because I got to be getting out of here.
So basically, for the regular user, we could also define rig availability. Well, anyone could.
Yeah, to go meet with Chili.
We can. Yeah, sorry about that. But basically, we could define rig availability, meaning that if you don't want to you're not using your rig or machine computer at home, you can basically schedule when you want to participate or make your rig available to the network and make them use it. Basically.
I hope folks are understanding what we're saying in between the lines here. We're not just focused on the miners here. We're focused on everybody here. Everybody can participate in this, right? If you're a gamer with just one rig with an older card, you can participate in this.
This is where your Cirrus nodes show up too, kiddos. You know what I'm saying? Just saying.
So we're trying to make it approachable for everybody here, not just the miners. Miners are a focus, don't get me wrong, but everybody can do this. Every computer can do this. And yes, I see you guys in the chat. We are seeing what you're saying there. Computational power needs to be paid for. We are making sure you're getting paid for this. We just alluded to that.
We're not gonna make you do it for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, holy shit!
Throw your stuff on the network. Thanks, guys. Bye. No, we're making sure you get paid.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. And so for Stoichionomics, we're still discussing the details on this. That's why on the light paper you will see a section dedicated to it, but for the metrics and the numbers used, these will be released throughout the year.
Associate at the bottom
so,
right.
Yeah, as I just said, so basically, to stay attractive to miners when doing useful work, you can either mine Flux or another coin, and then when a work is available for your rig, you basically switch to useful work. If it's
I don't know about all that, Tech Man. I can cash my Flux out.
If you're not mining, for example, for a regular
fiat
user,
in
well,
less than an hour.
Standby for the useful work, and whenever you get a work
in like
available
3 steps,
then you switch to proof of useful work. And every of these settings will be saved, so when the work is done, you'll be
super simple, my man.
Configuration will be released back to you with the settings that it had beforehand.
So, think about it. You're a university. You have 50,
stream
100,
a video.
Teslas.
Can you not hear the video?
Teslas these guys have. Alex, how many does Geneva have? 50, 60?
It should be
Right.
like
somewhere
Doesn't
around
matter.
40, but that's one. Yeah.
They can be doing their research with their cards, right?
Steps,
For a
yeah,
limited
3 steps.
time, because
You
those
gotta
are
convert
expensive things.
coins, man.
But after their research is done,
But yeah, I know
most
what
of the
you're
time,
saying.
these cards sit idle, right? Other universities can't reach them, so it's an idea is as well as to be able to get that power, that computational power, available to others as well, so they can share and utilize other people their cards and basically get the research done faster. This is gonna be a big thing.
Hey, I just want to point something out. Retro Mike just said
Flux
something in
Finance
chat
Exchange
that
Bank.
blew my mind. As someone
No.
who has a bunch of Teslas mining Flux, I'm looking forward to actually utilizing them. Like,
Not
if
at
that's
all.
legitimately, like, you can mine with a Tesla, Alex, it goes right back
I would
to
use
your
Cash App before
analogy
anything
about
else
your
for a
car.
bank.
Park
You
in the
can just
garage and let the
cash
bitch
straight to
mine.
that.
That's amazing.
Flux to BTC
Yeah.
to bank.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
So,
Alright,
yep,
that's it?
we're good on that. Yep, I think so.
The next slide is there another one? Ah, God, my face on the slides.
Yeah.
So these are the guys that
Look at
don't
that
mind the guy
man.
on the left.
What a
But
youngin'.
Everybody else has been really hard working on this.
I work too. Come
Yeah,
on.
he does.
I
work,
will
too.
tell
you
you.
should
these
be able
guys
to hear
have
it
been
though,
a
man.
very
Like,
independent
it's
crew.
showing
They
up.
went out and got resources wherever they need to. They've done the research, the legwork. Everything in the white paper has been cited. So I mean, we're giving credit to the folks
Alright,
who
well,
laid the.
I gotta be
groundwork
getting
for
out of
us,
here.
MIT and
I gotta
some
go
of the
meet
things
Chili.
they did with useful proof of work and other colleges that who
Give
have
him a small
had
tour
some
of
of
the
these
facility.
ideas where we've tapped
Chit
into
chat
as
for a
well.
minute.
University of
Maybe record some
Applied Science
content,
Switzerland.
and then
Did I get it, Davey?
go get some lunch.
Yeah,
I think you
that was
did.
good.
Close enough, right?
I think you did actually.
Yeah. So all these folks are really helping us out with getting this up and off the
Needs to get on
ground. I mean,
Coinbase.
these guys
Supposedly.
they've done yeoman's work. They really have.
I don't think they will.
I couldn't be more pleased. I will add
Personally,
an asterisk to this
since
at the
they
end,
added all the multi-chain
because I think
stuff,
it's
I
very
don't think
important.
I don't think
I have two things
Coinbase will
to say.
accept it.
The first one is if we get questions why this is a light paper,
They probably will see it as like
the
a
reason
security.
It's light paper is because this is proprietary information that we're working on building out, and we've already seen
To be completely
multiple
honest,
projects already attempt to copy what we're doing. We're not giving them the technicals. The technicals are done. The full white paper is completely done, and it's even much larger than what we have in the overview or the light paper that we're putting out. But the reality of it is we're not going to
It's like
develop
my
this out
personal
and have somebody
opinion,
else come in the 11th hour and take it from this community. So we have to be very protective of that. If you want to sign an NDA and if you want to be part of the team for proof of useful work, then we will do that at some point, and we will start sharing those pieces, right? So if you're out there and you're in that proof of useful work channel, down the road, we're going to make it private, and we are going to issue NDAs to whoever's working in there, and it's going to be we'll select you to be part of the team. And, as Alex and Davey push forward, they're going to need lots of great minds. So think about that. But we're not going to let somebody come in and steal our thunder. That's not how it works. We're proof of use of work.
I think
today.
the only ones you
About
can get it
50% of our
to would
network is
be
already that.
that's like US
We
would
could easily
be.
change the name Zellhash to proof of use of work, and it would all make sense, right?
Only
And
ones you can
maybe
get
we will do that
now on the
because I think it
exchange
is
would be
important, because we are the ones that
crypto.com,
are
and that's
basically
only going to
blazing
be
that trail.
Flux
If you're a proof of stake
on
project and you're
Binance
claiming
Smart
to be
Chain.
proof of
So it's
use
not
of work,
even
you're
true
full of
Flux.
shit, and you know
All
who
the
you are.
exchanges,
So that being
most
said,
of like the
I think that
exchanges
that's amazing. I think
that are
we'll see, we'll
centralized
announce
exchanges,
that.
they take Flux, but it's
the
not
other thing is I have an
Flux. It's
announcement about
either Flux
Poppy
ETH or
what the hell
Flux
is it called?
BSC.
Popa. We have
They don't
200
take Flux.
NFTs to give away, 250 NFTs. We posted them in the mini announcement link. If you came today, go claim your NFT.
Yeah,
This is something
KuCoin,
we're gonna start doing on
Crypto.com,
a regular
but most of
basis.
them are
Hopefully next time
taking
we have it a little bit more
Flux
organized,
and
but whenever
like
you work
parallel
with
asset Flux,
another
not actual
company, you have
Flux,
to kind
which
of go
is
with their pace, not your
it's
pace.
relatively the same thing if you can still cash it out,
Move
right?
fast. So, big shout out to Alex. Big shout out to Davey.
Oh,
Big
nice.
shout out
Seth
to
is
the
joining you
Proof of
this
Use Work
morning.
crew. This is a major milestone.
You tell
Mark
Uncle
it down
Seth
today,
he left me hanging
1:14,
last night.
At 11:49 a.m. It's official. We'll release it today. The white paper will be out there. Read it. We have a section in Discord where you can provide feedback and commentary. Keep it creative and not destructive, right? If you see something that irks
Here
you,
we
that's
go.
okay.
Redirect is
Explain
good.
to us why it irks you. Explain to us why we need to look at it. Explain where
Is
we need to do better.
NTX.
Maybe we missed something. Maybe there's something that you could add and
No
add
binance.
value.
Yeah, in Texas.
Anyone
Yeah,
that
no.
wants to provide useful input to our useful network is always welcome.
It
Don't
won't
come
get
in
on
there and shit
Coinbase,
all
Jump
over
Change. I promise you
everybody,
that.
or you'll get tossed out, and that'll be the end of you. This is about being calm, level-headed
Well,
adults.
I could be completely wrong, but
and
I don't
putting
see
the
them getting on
support and
Coinbase
resources behind
because
these
of the
young guys,
multi
Alex, Davey,
asset
and the other
thing.
folks on the team.
Kyle
so that
said
they
I nailed
feel
it.
their
Yeah,
work is
that is going to be
exactly
their
what it
downfall.
is. It's
Will be
fucking groundbreaking.
the assets.
And we're all along for the ride. And somebody made a comment that I was smiling about the next generation. This is a perfect example. Alex, Davey, these young guys, you know, Lucas, Adam, all the guys that work on the project, Jeremy, you know, they're today-ish, they're all hella younger than me. And that's it's
Yeah,
important.
Tech Man and
for
Uncle
this to
Seth.
be
Right,
something
right.
we can hand
Well,
to our
Serpent
kids,
and
our kids'
Uncle
kids,
Seth. But
and
all
our
right, guys,
kids'
I gotta go.
kids.
I gotta go meet. I gotta
Every
go meet
single one
Chili
of you,
and go
every one
give him a
of
tour of the
you is a
farm
vital part of this
and
project. Support these
all of
guys,
that FA
support this
stuff.
project like I know you can. And
Well, bam. Well, bam. There we go. You're all amazing, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are. I'm gonna go enjoy my day, hang out with Chili, and eat some lunch, give him a tour of the farm, have some fun, and I'll see y'all tonight on DCA Adventure at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I will be live on there. Yeah, just by myself, because my boy Nem will be out in hopefully he'll be in the Dominican Republic by then, but his flight was delayed, so we should see. Gundy might be joining tonight. It's possible. So see y'all tonight on DCA Adventure, guys. Much love, peace out, and stay savage. See y'all in the next one. See you later.